Bonjour. I've noticed that many people struggle with understanding natural spoken French, even people who can speak and read French. Why is that? I've been thinking about this for a long time as a teacher and as a language nerd, and I've found several reasons. Here are three of them to keep this video short. First of all, most teaching and learning methods out there are text-based. They use text as the primary way to teach the language. But humans communicate through sounds, not text. And so you get that disconnect between the way you learn and the way you're taught and what you really need in everyday situations. And as you probably already know, in French, the difference between what we write and what we say is huge. I mean, the difference is there's always a difference depending on languages. Some languages are worse than others. I mean, English is it's quite something. You think about the word enough, for example. GH pronounced th. Enough. That's very weird. I would like to say enoug. But French is particularly bad in that regards because the thing is, so there's a lot of silent letters, there's a lot of letter combinations that are pronounced nothing like the letters taken on their own, but there's also the fact that we blend and blur words together a lot. And there's a big difference between what I would call teacher French, over-enunciated French, and actual everyday spoken French. There's differences in the vocabulary that we use, but also the way we pronounce things. So I'll give you an example. Je sais pas ce qu'il fait. Je sais pas ce qu'il fait. That means I don't know what he's doing. Like this. Je sais pas ce qu'il fait. Yep, you heard that right. Now, here's the phonetic transcription of what I like to call the honest spelling. Je sais pas ce qu'il fait. That's how we would say this in everyday spoken French. Not in slang, just everyday spoken French. I'm not going to break this down here because that's not the point of the video, but it gives you an idea of the magnitude of the difference. So that's another reason why it can be so hard to understand spoken French. And lastly, there's something quite interesting about how, once again, text influences our perception of sounds and of speaking. There are spaces between words when we write, and that's very convenient because it means you know where words end and begin. That wasn't always the case, by the way. If you look at older texts from before the 10th century, for example, you get this thing where there are no spaces. Can you imagine how difficult this must be to read, especially in a foreign language when you don't know all of the words? It's hard to know where words end and begin here. Well, guess what? This is how it feels to listen to spoken French, or to any language really, because the truth is there are no spaces between words when we speak. There are no pauses. We do not speak like this. And so it means you have a continuous stream of foreign sounds thrown at you. And your brain has to do the cutting itself. It has to determine where words end and begin. It has to make guesses. So that makes it all the more difficult. Now, all of this is, unfortunately, there are no quick fixes to this, but I hope it helps you make sense of your experience, and it underscores the importance of training your ear, of not relying solely on text and text-based learning methods, and turning off the subtitles as much as you can. I know this is difficult because usually material with subtitles, YouTube videos, for example, or films, there's so much going on already that you have to think about the grammar, you have to think about the vocabulary, you have to think, and turning off the subtitles is hard. And it can be too big a leap between your current level and the film or the video you're watching. I'm aware of that, and that's why I'm working on building a comprehensive program to help you understand spoken French, real spoken French, without subtitles. It will be based on ear training, so that from day one you start training your ear to recognize French sounds without subtitles. Because the thing with subtitles is they're helpful, but they create a cycle. The more you use them, the more you need them. And so it's a bit of an addiction in a way. So yeah, I'm working on this program. And so if you're interested, if you're curious, do drop a comment, let me know. And I'll add you to a list so I can let you know when it's ready. You can also add me as a friend so I can message you when it's ready, or send me your email address. In any case, if you're interested, if you're curious or interested, write curieux or curieuse, curieux or curieuse if you're a woman. I'm going to take a break for the end of the year and the beginning of next year. I'm reading a great book, Slow Productivity, and it explains how when you're innovating and you're creating something new, it's really important to take breaks, because that's when you have insights, and that's when you have your best ideas. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll work on building that program. Anyway, whether you're interested or not in the program, try to turn the subtitles off as much as possible. Try to close your eyes and pay attention to what your ear receives, the sounds of the language, rather than relying so much on text. And lastly, thank you so much for your heartwarming messages on my recent videos on YouTube and Facebook. It means a lot. It's a great way to beat the cold out there. So there you go. And Joyeux Noël. Well, I should wait for tonight to say this, because in French, Joyeux Noël is only for the evening of the 24th and the 25th. The rest of the day we say Joyeuse Fête. I have other videos about this. But Joyeux Noël en avance, ahead of time. And as always, thank you for your interest in my language. À bientôt.